You know what's wild? We live in a world where Hollywood sells us this perfect illusion: smiling actors, glamorous red carpets, emotional award speeches, and Instagram captions about family on set. But peel back that glitter, and you'll find something much darker hiding underneath. Because not every set is full of love and laughter. Some are absolute war zones. And one actress just proved. Rebecca Ferguson, yeah, the same actress who's been stealing scenes in Dune and Mission Impossible, just shattered the illusion of Hollywood professionalism. She opened up about a nightmare co-star who made her life on set unbearable, and now, other actors are backing her up. This isn't some anonymous rumor or attention grab. Rebecca's got receipts, confidence, and zero fear of fallout. And what she revealed says way more about Hollywood's dark underbelly than about one bad actor. Because when someone like Rebecca Ferguson speaks, people listen. Before we dive into the chaos, let's make something clear: Rebecca Ferguson isn't some newbie chasing fame. She's a powerhouse. She's worked alongside Tom Cruise in multiple Mission Impossible films, held her own next to Hugh Jackman in The Greatest Showman, and gave one of the most haunting performances in Dr. Sleep. She's known for being grounded, disciplined, and deeply respected by everyone who works with her. She's the kind of actor directors fight to cast, not because she plays the Hollywood game, but because she delivers every time. So when she says a co-star made her life miserable, people stop and listen. Because this isn't gossip. This is a warning shot. And the craziest part? The story isn't new. It started almost a year ago, but it's now exploding again because new details are surfacing, and they change everything. Let's rewind to when this all began. Rebecca sat down for a podcast called Rain with Josh Smith, expecting a typical chat about her career. But somewhere in that conversation, she decided she was done pretending everything was fine. She started describing a film shoot where one of her co-stars, someone big, someone powerful, completely lost control on set. She called them, quote, an absolute idiot of a co-star. And immediately, the internet went into detective mode. Everyone wanted to know who it was. Fans flooded Reddit threads and comment sections, throwing out names: Tom Cruise, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman. But Rebecca shut those theories down fast. It wasn't any of them, which only made things more mysterious. Because if it's not those guys, then who's left? Rebecca's description of what happened was chilling. She said that during filming, this co-star would completely lose their temper, screaming at her, tearing her apart in front of the entire crew. And not in a "we're arguing over creative choices" way. This was full-blown verbal abuse. Things like, "You call yourself an actor? This is what I have to work? What even is this performance?" Imagine that. You've done your homework. You're giving your best. You're surrounded by a crew of professionals, and your scene partner decides to humiliate you in front of everyone. Rebecca said she'd walk off set crying, not because she was weak, but because she was human. And what made it even worse was that everyone saw it, and nobody stopped it. Because that person was number one on the call sheet. The star. The money. The face of the film. And when the person with the power behaves badly, everyone else stays quiet. That's the ugly truth about Hollywood no one likes to talk about. The industry protects power, not people. After days of enduring this abuse, something inside Rebecca snapped. She walked onto set one morning, looked this person dead in the eye, and said something that would become iconic: "You can get off my set." And when the producers tried to step in, reminding her that this person was the star, she didn't back down. She said, "Fine. If you're not familiar, a tennis ball on a stick is what actors use for eyeline reference when filming CGI scenes. It's not even a person." Rebecca was literally saying she'd rather act to nothing than deal with that person again. And she meant it. From that day forward, she refused to do direct scenes with that actor. She told them to turn around and perform to the back of their head. That's not just defiance. That's power. That's a woman taking back her dignity when the entire system told her to stay quiet. When this story first came out, people in Hollywood started whispering. Some were shocked. Some claimed they already knew. But then something unexpected happened. Rebecca got support. And not just from fans. From big names. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson went public, applauding her for speaking out. He said she was brave and that her courage would inspire others to stand up too. And when someone like The Rock, one of the most bankable, respected names in the industry, speaks up, it matters. Because it tells everyone watching that silence isn't the only option. And apparently, Rebecca's honesty lit a fire behind the scenes. Because since her interview, multiple actors have quietly reached out to her, confirming they worked with the same person and that their experience was just as bad. Let that sink in. This wasn't a one-time thing. It was a pattern. Here's the part that really hits hard. Even after all this, the person she's talking about still hasn't reached out. No apology. No acknowledgement. Nothing. Radio silent. And that silence speaks volume. Because either they don't care, or they know that as long as they stay quiet, the system will keep protecting them. Hollywood has this unspoken rule: if you're famous enough, talented enough, or profitable enough, your behavior doesn't matter. Directors will overlook it, producers will excuse it, and crews will whisper about it behind closed doors but never intervene. It's the same pattern we've seen time and time again. But Rebecca's story? It's exposing how deep that rot goes. Let's be clear. This isn't just about one person yelling on a set. This is about an entire system built on fear and silence. The Me Too movement cracked open the door on sexual abuse in Hollywood, but emotional and verbal abuse still flies under the radar. Because people think, well, it's not physical, so it's not that bad. But it is that bad. Being screamed at, belittled, humiliated in a high-pressure environment where everyone's watching and nobody defends you, that leaves scars. Rebecca's story proves that you can be successful, respected, and still get crushed by an industry that refuses to protect you. And she's not alone. Many actors have quietly admitted similar experiences, but fear losing work if they speak up. Rebecca broke that silence. And once someone brave enough takes the first swing, the wall starts to crack. In her recent Times interview, Rebecca didn't backtrack. If anything, she doubled down. She said she doesn't care if the person knows she's talking about them. She's not afraid of burning bridges. In her words, if they know, they know. That line has become almost legendary online, a rallying cry for anyone who's been mistreated by someone in power. Rebecca admitted she's not perfect, that sometimes her approach might be messy or confrontational. But she's okay with that, because at least she's being real. And the truth is, the industry needs more people like that. People who are willing to say the uncomfortable thing, to pull back the curtain, to risk their reputation in exchange for honesty. Because change doesn't come from silence. It comes from someone saying, enough. Here's something most people missed in her story, the part about why this happened. Rebecca said the co-star who abused her was insecure. They were struggling to get their scenes right. They were angry and frustrated, and they projected all that onto her. And that insight is huge, because it shows how fragile egos can become when wrapped in fame. The more insecure someone is, the more they lash out at the people who threaten them, especially if that person is talented, composed, and quietly confident like Rebecca. So what happens when you give someone like that power? You get chaos. It's a dangerous cocktail of insecurity and entitlement. And in Hollywood, it's practically a tradition. But Rebecca's story interrupts that tradition. She didn't just endure it, she exposed it. Since her interview, more people have started speaking out about toxicity on set. Not just about this one person, but in general, directors, producers, even crew members coming forward about mistreatment they've faced. That's the ripple effect. It's how movements start. Rebecca didn't need to name names to make an impact. In fact, keeping it vague might have been genius, because now, every toxic actor in Hollywood is sweating. They don't know if it's about them, and that uncertainty is powerful. It's forcing people to reevaluate how they behave, because next time, the person they scream at might not stay quiet. Now, let's talk about the mystery, because that's what's keeping Hollywood guessing and fans obsessed. Who is the co-star? Rumors online have been spinning non-stop. Some reports claim that the project was a certain big-budget drama filmed around the same time. Others suggest that the actor in question has a long history of on-set temper issues. But Rebecca's been careful, she's never said a name. And honestly, that's kind of brilliant, because by not naming them, she's flipped the script. Instead of people focusing on gossip, they're focusing on behavior. The real question isn't who did it, it's why do we keep letting people get away with it? The truth is, abuse like this survives because the system rewards silence. Producers want to protect profits, not PR teams want to preserve reputations, not truth. And the higher up you go, the fewer people are willing to tell you no. Rebecca's story isn't just about confrontation, it's about exposing that imbalance. She's showing what happens when someone finally says, I'm not playing by your rules anymore. And that's terrifying for the system, because if more actors start doing what she did, the entire hierarchy of Hollywood starts to crumble. People connect with Rebecca's story because it's not just about fame. It's about every workplace where someone with power mistreats others, and everyone else stays quiet because they're afraid to lose their job. Her story is universal. It's Hollywood's version of what millions of people go through every day. And seeing someone with her platform take that stand gives others permission to do the same. That's why her words hit so hard. Because they remind us that courage isn't about being fearless, it's about being terrified and doing it anyway. So where do we go from here? Will Rebecca ever name the person? Maybe not, and maybe she doesn't need to. Because at this point, the story has become bigger than one name. It's about accountability. It's about safety on set. It's about changing an industry that's been broken for decades. And every time someone like Rebecca Ferguson speaks up, It chips away at the old system just a little more. Rebecca Ferguson didn't just expose a toxic co-star, she exposed Hollywood's favorite secret, that power protects itself. Her story is a reminder that even the most glamorous industry in the world has cracks running deep beneath the surface. But as those cracks widen, truth starts to seep through. And maybe, just maybe, this time, it'll finally lead to something better. Because silence only protects the guilty. But courage? Courage changes everything.